Hello everyone, welcome back to Sound of Manchester. This is your host Prathamesh and joining me is Kushagra. What a wonderful victory it was last night against Crystal Palace. We really had to get into the game. We fought every moment of the match. It was a really difficult game. There were a few controversies here and there, but there were two beautiful moments by Manchester United forwards, Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford getting on the score sheet yet again, and it seems that there is no way that me and Kushagra are going to win the battle at all, because it seems that when Rashford scores, Martial has to score, and it goes either way. But Ole did put a few surprises yesterday. One of them was obviously at left back, where we expected Diogo Dalot to start, if not Shaw or Williams, but he put in Timothy Fosu Mensah of all people. He started his first United game after 2017, and that game was the last game of the season against Crystal Palace again. That was at Old Trafford though, and that was his last appearance for United in the Premier League. And since then, it's been 3 years, and he put in a decent performance, didn't he, Kushagra? I think he played very simple football. He was stuck to the basics, defending well, and just passing the ball to his forward players or side passing it to the midfielders.
Yeah, I went through his stats last night itself. He had 87% pass accuracy. He made 6 interceptions out of 4 tackles that he tried. He was successful once, but gave away 3 fouls. But what was most exciting and most interesting aspect about his overall play was that he ended up creating two clear-cut opportunities to convert, and that is something I wasn't expecting from Fosu Mensah, given that he's right-footed, given that he's not. So, just as a fun fact, the last time he played for United, it was Rooney's farewell game. It was Angel Gomez's debut. It was the season when United won the Europa League and when Mourinho had completely given up on the league. He even played that Tottenham match and the Arsenal match during that run-in when United did end up losing both those matches. So, anyway, beyond that, but I felt Fosu Mensah, he played within himself, especially in the first half. Second half, you could still see, he was getting a little more into the game. He was going ahead. But all in all, a fantastic job. That's not his position. The manager trusted him. It's his first competitive match in 16 months. So extremely impressive by the young lad, and really happy. Before these last couple of seasons, which have been really unfortunate for him, I think most United fans did rate him really highly. Still feel his best position is as a CDM. It's not as a right or a left back. But he's been doing well. He did well at Palace as well initially on loan until
Yeah,
they
he did.
discovered
Yeah.
Van Bissaka, and Van Bissaka obviously was preferred. But yeah, as far as Timothy Fosu Mensah is concerned, I've got no complaints. I was really happy with his performance, and he justified the manager's faith. It's just surprising to see. I'm pretty sure Diogo Dalot will get sold in the summer, because if he's behind Fosu Mensah as well at left back,
Yeah,
that is. So because
yeah,
Dalot can't defend, yeah,
that
Dalot
seems
can't
obvious
defend.
now, doesn't it? Yeah, he can't defend, and we really do need a defender. I think it's important that fullbacks are defenders first. I think there is a lot of emphasis laid on fullbacks providing attacking support, but I think the first foremost responsibility of fullback is to defend well. And Timothy Fosu-Mensah did put a lot of confidence into, like, he gained a lot of confidence from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and that was seen on the pitch yesterday. And talking about confidence, the game started really well for Crystal Palace, and in a different way. They were more direct. They were troubling our defenses, especially the pace of Zaha and Townsend was really good. Put to really good use by Crystal Palace, and De Gea was forced to make a few saves. He made a brilliant one of Wilfried Zaha in the first half. He also made one in the second half. But I mean, De Gea is showing some really good signs now. He probably had his best game of the season last night, and he is showing signs that the confidence which United fans did not have on him for the last few weeks at least is starting to come back to normalcy now.
Yeah, and there's something very pertinent Solskjaer said himself, and even De Gea's current goalkeeping coach has said at United. It's about a change of mentality for De Gea. Even up until last season, if you see, United weren't playing that much of a possession game. They did play the possession game under Van Gaal, but it was entirely different. And in the sense that De Gea was still, our defense still was a bit leaky, and De Gea was still required on and off during matches. Now, what will happen is there'll be spells that De Gea is required, and that is something what his goalkeeping coach is mentioning. So he has to be ready, mentally ready for those spells, because he'll not have matches after matches when he's being bombarded, which was the case with Jose, which was the case with Moyes and Van Gaal. It's very different. So in that sense, for 6 years he's been playing a different kind of football, and also I still feel he needs to improve in his distribution in terms of his distribution with the feet. And though yesterday there wasn't any problem, I felt he played very well. I felt his distribution was on point. He made three fantastic saves. The free kick, of course, from Milivojevic, the save from as we were discussing, the save from Zaha, and also if you remember the save in the second half when Harry Maguire gets skinned and MacArthur, if I'm not wrong, I think it was MacArthur who goes ahead. MacArthur who goes for the near post, and that's something that we've all been very critical about for De Gea, that he's been conceding a lot deep low on the near post, and yesterday he made a very very good save with his feet, and all in all, I'm really happy he got a clean sheet. Let's not forget, the leader in clean sheets in the Premier League is Nick Pope, who has 14 clean sheets. De Gea has 12. So it's not been a completely shit season for him, and he's not someone who's useless. Dean Henderson has 13. So so he's still amongst the top three keepers for clean sheets in the league. So it's not all going downhill. I know we've been criticizing De Gea. I've criticized him, but that's just because we rate him at the level of Ter Stegen and Oblak. We don't compare him to the Premier League keepers
the Hendersons or the Nick Popes for that matter.
Yeah. We're comparing him with Oblak and Ter Stegen and Alisson and Edison. So we want him to be amongst those top 3-4 keepers in the world. And last 2 years he hasn't been so, and I hope he's turned a corner here, because if he's able to, with all due respect to Henderson's talent, I think he might just eat away Henderson's career at United. If he's able to maintain his true level, this guy. So we saw Van der Sar playing till 40. Why can't De Gea at least play till 35? That's another 6-7
he
years.
definitely he can. I mean, all the United fans do want Henderson at the club, but De Gea is obviously clearly the number one choice for most United fans even now, and he's definitely the number one choice for Ole, and you can see that very clearly in the faith that he's put in the lad. And talking about the game yesterday, and we are talking about the race for Manchester United's top scorer, Marcus Rashford popped in with a really good goal where United weren't looking really good. It was just, as I think Andy Townsend mentioned in commentary, that United weren't playing fluently, but whenever they're stepping up the pace by one or two quick passes, Crystal Palace were looking on the back foot. And that is exactly what happened. Bruno Fernandes played a really quick pass with Anthony Martial first, and then pass it on to Marcus Rashford, who had really good calmness inside the box, and that is something which wasn't there in his game a couple of years ago. But you can see that developing now, that calmness, that vision to see what exactly is going to happen, how the defenders are going to react, how the keeper is going to react, and then he just slotted that ball in the bottom right corner very calmly. It was a precisely fantastic goal. I think it's his first goal since he has become a doctor. I mean, honorary doctor. So that was just a surge into the Crystal Palace defense. Scored a really beautiful goal, and I mean, Kushagra, that was probably the turning point of the first at the end of the first half, wasn't it? Because Crystal Palace looked really good till then. They might have scored, but for De Gea, and even after that, when Crystal Palace did win the free kick, Milivojevic free kick was saved. So, do you think that goals kind of turned the corner towards Manchester United in the game?
In terms of turning a corner, this is the third time in 3 matches that United have had a really poor first 20 minutes in the match. It happened against Villa, happened against Southampton, now it's happened against Crystal Palace. United need to be really careful. I know this is not a Chelsea preview. We'll be doing that later, but I'm sure we'll be discussing that there as well, because United have a tendency to start too early. And if these teams were more clinical, we'll have that match against Leicester, and we saw how Leicester played. A shout out to Dean Henderson there. I felt Sheffield could have lost 4-5-6-0 Dean Henderson had a fabulous game, and they still lost 2-0. So,
He stole
United
my cap,
cannot.
by the way.
Yeah. He- he's Dean Henderson has been really good for Sheffield United, and on the contrary, United haven't really started well in the past three matches. So that's something they need to take care of. I felt they were really slow. It's again what was with Southampton. The passing out from the back is so slow. Yesterday, I felt Pogba was babysitting McTominay in the holding midfield role, and United missed Matic. United missed Luke Shaw because Luke Shaw has been our best defender, I'd say, since the restart, and definitely the best fullback. His presence on the left wing, as you're talking about Rashford, I'll come on to him a little later because there is a lot I want to talk about Marcus because he's really impressed me, Dr. Marcus. But all in all, felt the midfield did not whenever the front three got the ball, even if it was Greenwood who was a little wasteful in the beginning. Whenever the front three got the ball, there were chances created. You can see there are patterns of link ups between them utilizing Pogba and Fernandes. There are link up patterns there, but the problem is a lot of the time the ball in our possession spends a lot of time with Maguire, with Lindelof, with not Shaw now, Mensah and Van Bissaka. We've got to try and push this ball into the midfield, push it more towards our wingers, more towards our striker. This is what it's been a sort of lethargy. It's been so slow in the last three matches. And as Solskjaer said in the post-match press conference, he said we had phases when we played well, and that's completely true. You talk about that first goal. First of all, I don't think anyone could have expected Marcus Rashford to turn into a creative striker right after lockdown as he has, and the way he's been pulling strings, the way he's almost playing as a pseudo number 10 and putting in balls, one touch passing, his crossing, his ability to find space and also to drop back and play as a quarterback. It's been fabulous, and I'm so happy because God forbid nothing ever happens to Marcus Rashford, but if something ever happens to his pace, we know a facet of his game that he can make use of and still be extremely effective at the top. So I'm really happy he's been able to do this. He's really maturing as a player, and he used Martial and Fernandes so well for that first goal. The ball goes into Fernandes, who starts dribbling a little. Martial plays a dummy and runs across, and Fernandes gives it to Rashford. And just the composure to have to shift it onto his right foot, to put three people on the backsides, and then just simply stroke it into the goal. So I was really, really impressed and with that
And
goal.
the most satisfying part about that was Patrick Van Aanholt was lying on the field. I mean, the first half goal, obviously not the second one, but the first one, the first
best
one
wishes
was
to him.
best wishes to him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he
coming to
seemed
that,
like a bad injury.
it was really bad because he was put on a stretcher and there was a lot of
Yeah.
oxygen going into his body. So
Yeah,
I think
I
we
think
hope,
he's dislocated his shoulder because I think that's
yeah,
what he was mentioning in the
yeah.
end
I
of.
think we
Yeah,
really hope that he recovers quickly because he's a fantastic fullback. All said, all hatred that we have towards him for scoring that goal at Old Trafford, but I think he's a fantastic fullback. He's got really good pace. He's got really good sense of positioning himself perfectly on the pitch, especially in an offensive sense. He does that really well with Zaha. Coming back to United, I think the second goal was a real joy to watch because it was a phase in the game when Crystal Palace were about to go ahead in the game. Jordan Ayew almost put the ball in the back of the net. He actually did, but it was VAR who ruled it out for like millimeters, or I don't know what it was. I don't know how
it
that
was one
geometry
one two.
works.
It was 1-2.
Yeah, it was 1-2. I mean, that geometry, those lines that come on the screen, those are crazy, dude. And I didn't feel that that was going to be offside. It didn't look offside. Even yesterday, I think it was. I think it was a very close call. I think strikers after that, I think even Jordan Ayew after that started behaving a little differently. He didn't make those runs because he was worried of being offside. and that is where we
Yeah.
almost, yeah, I think that is where I think VAR also again, I think, yeah, it is correct that it was ruled out, but I think for the strikers now this is going to be a big dilemma whether to make the runs then or not. And talking about making them runs very accurately, the Martial was a perfect example, because we were being a little lethargic, as you said, and then Matic came on, and along with him came Jesse Lingard. We have seen him after a long, long while now, who actually didn't play so bad yesterday. But Matic came on, brought a lot of calmness onto the pitch. He, except for that one moment when he was just running behind with the ball with no clue, but yeah, but I think, yeah, he did bring a lot of calmness, and his passing was really good. His I think his running with the ball was also really good. And then one moment came when Marcus Rashford suddenly decided to turn the pace up, and he also beat 3-4 defenders. I don't know how he got out of that
Yeah.
mess. And then he passed it on to Fernandez, who took a really good position, waited for the exact point when Menino was just going to tackle him, and put the ball through his feet. And then Rashford's layup was absolutely wonderful. And then Martial with the finish. I think that was one of the dream goals of the season. That link up between Bruno, Rashford, and Martial. Obviously, just before that goal, Bruno had missed a chance which hit the post. So it was even more satisfying to see that that second goal, even after that bad luck previously went in. I think it is great to see Martial smiling, because wow, that is a wonderful thing to watch. We have seen a serious Martial for a long time now, and now to see him smiling so often is really great. And I think the game really turned ended after that goal, especially because we grabbed control of the game. We didn't let Crystal Palace do much with the ball. We took a lot of possession with us. We were playing with a lot of confidence after that goal. So do you feel that sometimes it just comes down to the confidence of the players, in terms of they felt more comfortable after 2-0, as if they're not going to lose the game now anyway? So did it come down to the confidence, or do you think was it because Crystal Palace wore out after that?
No, I think Crystal Palace were very much into the game. As you mentioned, the goal that was ruled out because of offside, there was this penalty incident on Lindelof as well in the first half.
Yeah.
I did not feel that was a penalty. I felt he got the ball and the player at the same time. Maybe I honestly felt he probably got the ball a millisecond before the player. So
Yeah.
did not feel that was a penalty, but still. So Crystal Palace were very much in the game, and we had our hearts in our mouth every time they were going ahead. It felt very, very similar to Southampton. United against did not start the second half very well. They picked it up from where they started the first half, and again Crystal Palace were on the front foot. United concede that goal, it's ruled out. United still on the back foot, and then as you said, the substitutions happen around the 62nd, 63rd
Yeah.
minute. McTominay and Greenwood go off with Lingard and Matic coming on. I felt Lingard was decent yesterday. I felt
Yeah. He did.
because that is a role which I feel he can play to the perfection, because you have 25, 30 minutes left in the match, and you need someone to come on to one of the wings and just completely give his heart and soul for that particular position. Make
Yeah.
sure United were on our right hand side, Palace left, where Zaha was playing. Van Bissaka wasn't good, as we mentioned, and Greenwood isn't entirely a very, very good defensive winger. So United were conceding a lot of chances on that side, and because they were conceding a lot of chances, it made sense to reinforce it with Lingard. So as far as Lingard is concerned, no problems with him. Still don't feel he's good enough to play for United, but in a limited role, of course, he did help. As far as Matic is concerned and that second goal is concerned, apart from the brain fart that he had, I don't know what was he doing, just standing with the ball, waiting for someone to come, and then he gets tackled and he needs Maguire to bail him out. Maguire was a
Yeah.
fantastic tackle. We've been dissing Maguire a lot. Apart from that one incident when MacArthur ran through, sorry, I did not see any problems with Maguire. I thought he was excellent yesterday. He probably should have scored a goal because I think he had three or four
Yeah. Yes.
good
Three
headed
opportunities which
opportunities.
missed.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruno had three or four really good corners. Felt Bruno
Yeah.
could have had a couple of goals yesterday. Bruno could have had a couple more assists, and yet we feel he did not have the best game. So for the goal, this is I was reading a stat. I don't want to jump or go too far ahead of myself. But in the 4 years, in the 3 years that they played together, that is from 1998 to 2001, Dwight York and Andy Cole had 28 goals, wherein they had assisted the goal to the other person, like 28 goals between each other. And with this goal, Rashford and Martial have gone to 30. So
Okay.
already. So I'm not trying. Of course, they've not achieved even a percent of what those guys achieved,
Yeah.
and they're very young and they're not playing in a team even 1/10 as good as they were playing in, and we're not at that level. All of those considerations aside, these two young boys are just cold, man. They have 59 goal contributions in all competitions this year. 59. Just imagine with a half decent midfield and a half decent defense. Top four should not even be a discussion that United should be having, because if you add a Sancho to this, if you add some depth in our midfield, as in our first and second change would be decent, and maybe another central defender. I think United are good enough. I don't think United can win the title, but they can definitely be in the
Challenge
conversation.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, they can definitely be in the conversation. So I just love, and I feel Martial is the best number 9 right now in the league. I don't think there is anyone at his level. If you want to look at the stats, he scored 13, 12 in 11, and he scored 9 in 9 since the restart. Sorry, 8 in 8 since the
18.
restart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't think he scored against tough opposition. He scored against easy opposition. Scores all types of goals. Cuts in from the left, comes from the right, tap ins, tips, headers, everything, and his hold up play, like everything that people used to lambast him.
Exactly.
The whole,
That is improved drastically, because he has now started running into channels. He took one on Scott Dan yesterday, which I don't think he would have taken on, say, 6-7 months before. He wouldn't have
yeah,
taken that run.
he goes
But
to the
now he does
byline,
that.
gets a
Yeah.
corner from Sacco. If you saw,
Yeah,
that wasn't a
exactly.
very
So
good ball. That wasn't a good ball by
that
Fernandez.
was a
And then he
horrible ball.
runs after the ball, stops it, gets a
Exactly.
corner from Sacco. And so I feel that in general he's playing very well. And of course I love Tony. He's my favorite player, but he's playing very well. And just watching him and Marcus play together, I mean, either
Magic.
Greenwood reaches their level soon, or if United gets that guy next year, I know midfield and defense might suck, but it'll just be so much fun watching our attack.
Yeah, so we're going to leave our viewers with these good vibes of Rashford and Martial linking up. It was a fantastic game yesterday for both of them. Obviously, for us as a team overall, we had a lot of hard work. We had to grind a lot, but getting the result was the most important thing. And Palace have always given us a tough game. It may be at Old Trafford or at Selhurst Park. So, and Roy Hodgson's team's always very well organized and set up. So it was obviously going to be a difficult game. They had 5 losses in a row, but that doesn't matter on the day, does it? So we had a tough game and we did really well. We came out with a victory. Now we go on to the FA Cup semi-final, and we are going to do a preview of that with a little bit of a surprise for you guys coming up with that. So we're going to leave you with that element of surprise, thinking about it, element of surprise, what it can be, and also at the same time with the good vibes that we all generated last night. So thank you, Kushagra, for joining. Obviously, you seem to be really happy. Even I am really happy. So this Rashford Martial battle is going to go until Cologne's final, I hope. And
Yeah.
let's see how it goes ahead from there. So thank you guys. Thank you for tuning into Sound of Manchester. It is wonderful to be back. Thank you guys.